ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto. ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon. ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
And magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat at very happy Friday sa mga sumusubaybay sa ating ETUlay session ngayong Biyernes, Matalino Friday. Ito na yung ating last ETUlay Friday for the year 2021. Ako po si Tutor Joshua.
Ako naman po si Tutor Queenie at nasa 5th week na tayo ng second quarter about problems involving linear function. So kaya inaanyayahan po namin kayo ngayong mga estudyante, pati ng inyong mga magulang at guro na matuto kasama namin.
Ayan po, so tara, kasama na ICTS, ETU, pati po yung mga sumulat at bumuo ng mga modules na pinagbabasihan natin mga lesson ngayon, hapon ay narito po para ETUlay ang paggabay at pag-aaral ng matematika.
Ayan. Kaya po kung may kailangan po tayong reviewin, i-reskill, i-enrich, available po ang mga modules na ito sa DepEd Commons at ang mga sessions sa ETU Facebook page at YouTube para sa ETUlay.
Ayan, good afternoon po kay Catlea Soriano ng Ingon Ramon na Integrated School, ang Hadanan West District SDO Isabela, pati rin kay Catherine Matarlo, good afternoon. Ayan, kahit na last Friday na natin talaga, no, Tutor Queenie, nandyan pa rin sila. Kasi nga, application naman ito nung last week na natutunan natin. At pwedeng balik-balikan naman ng ating mga viewers yung ating sessions in the previous weeks and especially this week.
So, review tayo para makasunod pa rin kasi medyo bakasyon na. Last day na, tapos bakasyon na tomorrow. So, review tayo para ma-refresh kung ano-ano ba yung mga lessons na natakal natin last time. So, mga konting questions lang about our linear functions. Ayan. So, may naka-flash na question sa ating screen. Tutor Joshua.
Okay. So, in this case, in this question, what is the Y-intercept of y equals 3x plus 2? Is it 2/3, positive 2, or positive 3? Ayan.
Good afternoon po kay Mayla Generalo. Merry Christmas din po. Good afternoon din kay Marky Soriano. Ayan.
Ayan. So time is up. So Tutor Queenie, actually hindi lang to linear function, no?
Mm-hmm. Kasi nabanggit din natin before na yung linear equations natin, yung slope-intercept form na yon ay connected din dun sa diniscuss natin na linear function. So ito ay naka-y equals 3x plus 2. Ang alam natin na naka-slope-intercept form. Ayan. So meron ng mga sagot sila Catherine Matarlo at Marky Soriano, letter B. Ayan, very good. Nakita nila na yung free na nakadikit nung variable x natin ay ang ating slope.
Ayun. And another way to solve for this is letting x be equal to 0. So kapag substitute natin yung 0 sa ating variable x, we will have 3 times 0 plus 2, which is just 0 plus 2 or positive 2. So yung y natin, yun yung y value at x equals 0. And b represents our y-intercept. So,
Yung slope ay yung m, tapos yung intercept ay yung b. Ayan.
ayan. In this case, yung ating m, pwede rin natin tawagin na rate of change, especially when we have a linear function. Kasi nga, kapag line, there's a constant change, may it be positive, may it be negative, as it goes along x values. So, Tutor Queenie, how about the second question?
Second question natin ay, what is the slope of the line containing the points 2, 5 and negative 3, negative? Is it A, the m is equal to 5/7, B, m is equal to 7/5, C, m is equal to negative 7/5. So, meron tayong 2 points na binigay dito. Coordinates of 2 points. Ang hinahanap natin ay slope of the line. Second question natin to Joshua, no? Second question.
Yes. Ayan, time is up. Okay. Sige, Tutor Queenie, paano nga ba ito ginagawa?
Ayan. Since slope ang hinahanap natin at meron tayong coordinates ng 2 points, we can use the change in y all over the change in x, or y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then, sa substitute na natin, we have negative 2 minus 5.
Wait lang.
Naghang ba? Ayan, sige.
Ayan.
All over negative 3 minus 2.
Ayan.
So we have 7/5 or letter B. Kaya may mga nakasagot na sila Catherine Matarlo at Kathleen Soriano. So, naaalala pa rin nila kung paano hanapin ang slope given ang 2 points. That's good.
Okay, pwede rin actually nila i-graph ito, no? Tapos bilangin yung rise and bilangin yung run. Basta tatandaan natin the direction of the rise or the run signifies the sign of the change in y and the change in x. Yeah. So how about this question? Okay, let f of x be equal to negative 2/3 x plus 5. So what is f of 12? Is it A, negative 3, B, negative 8, or C, negative 30? So we will give you 5 seconds para mapag-isipan kung paano siya sasagutin.
Kailangan nilang alalahanin, no? Yung f of x. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng f of x doon? So, yung f of x naging f of 12 na, yung hinihingi.
Ayan, so time is up. So if your answer, ayan, tingnan natin kung may nakakuha ng correct. Ayan, so ang answer here is letter A. Ayan, f of 12 is equal to negative 3. And para ma-solve ito, sabi nga kanina ni Tutor Queenie, no, f of x na yung ating function, so we will substitute 12 to x. So we will have f of 12 equals negative 2/3 of 12 plus 5. And kahit na may fraction ito, we know that we will just get part of 12 and we will take the negative of it. So that would be negative 8 plus 5. And dahil magkaiba yung signs natin, technically we're going to subtract. So we will have f of 12 equals negative 3.
So, mukha lang, mukha lang mahirap, pero magsa-substitute lang naman pala talaga yung kailangan nilang gawin dito. So, ang mahalaga dito, they understand the notations. That is the key for this problem. Ayan. So, since we've refreshed our lesson, ano na ba ang ating objective for today, Tutor Joshua?
Okay, so actually, no, yung review natin is part of the first quarter topic, which is on parang linear equations in two variables. Pero, i-apply kasi natin yon in solving problems involving linear functions. And syempre, hindi tayo basta-basta makakapag-solve ng problems if we do not understand the problem itself. And yung mga problems na yon, we could illustrate linear functions. Makakagawa tayo ng formula or makakagawa tayo ng mathematical model that will explain everything na may papakita niya sa isang simpleng equation or function yung problem na isa-solve natin.
So, balikan natin, ano nga ba ang linear function? So, a linear function is a function that can be written in the form f of x is equal to mx plus b. Okay, we're familiar with the mx plus b, where this time we define m as the slope of the line and yung b, yung ating y-intercept. Or, ayan, kasi diba sabi natin ang slope ay change of y all over the change in x. So here, pag in-apply na natin sa function or na magsosolve na tayo ng problems, m is now the rate of change. And b is the value of f of x at x is equal to 0 or yung f of 0.
Ayan. Kasi ang linear function, kung tutusin, ang kanyang domain is all of the real numbers. Okay? Ibig sabihin, laging may value yung ating f of 0 and actually that is one of the good starting points kapag na-determine natin yung mathematical model that we will use and later on mapapakita natin yan. Okay? But before that, let us analyze this problem. Let f of x be a linear function. So, magkakaroon tayo ng slope and y-intercept mamaya. If f of 2 equals negative 1 and f of 5 equals 11, what is f of 0 or in this case, yung ating y-intercept? So, mukhang komplikado siya pero I think there is something familiar na magagamit natin to solve this problem.
Kasi, Tutor Joshua, kanina, nung tinanong yung f of 12, meron tayong parang equation doon na pwede natin i-substitute. Kaya lang sa kaso na to, yung f of 2 is equal to negative 1, tapos f of 5 is equal to 11, yun lang yung given. Wala tayong parang pwedeng gamitin for substitution, na direct substitution para doon sa 0. Pero we know that the f of 2 is equal to 1. Okay? The value of the function, na pagka ang x natin ay 2, it is equal to 1. Yan.
Negative
And,
1.
negative 1, sorry. Okay, so that will be, if x is equal to 2, then y is equal to negative 1. So same thing with the other value na given. So if x is equal to 5, then y is equal to 11. At dahil meron tayong ganitong information, magagamit natin yung previous knowledge natin that this is actually coordinates of a point 2, negative 1, at saka 5, 11. Right?
Ayun. So parang galing sa value of the function at a certain value of x, nakakuha tayo ng dalawang ordered pairs. And kapag nakakuha tayo ng dalawang ordered pairs, ibig sabihin nun, may point tayo na pwede, may points rather, kasi dalawa na pwedeng ipag-connect, makukuha na natin yung slope using those points. Okay? Pero mas maganda syempre kung hindi lang slope yung kukunin natin. Dahil sabi nga ni Tutor Queenie, no, ang kailangan natin is the equation of the linear function. And we could write the function by finding the equation of the line passing through these points, 2, negative 1, and 5, 11. So, marami tayong ways kung paano siya masasolve or masusulat. Okay, we could use the two-point form. We could separate it. Kunin muna natin yung slope, tapos gamitin natin yung point slope form. Pwede rin actually natin i-graph bago natin makuha yung equation. Pero let's use the two-point form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals the slope y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 multiplied by the binomial x minus x sub 1. Yan. So, ano gagawin natin dito, Tutor Queenie? Kasi dumodoble yung y, dumodoble yung x.
I-assign na lang muna natin yung kung sino yung y sub 1, y sub 2, yung x sub 1, at x sub 2 para hindi tayo malilito. Okay? So, yung 2, negative 1 natin, that will be the first point. Yan. And then yung 5, 11, that will be our second. Baka naaalala na nila Alwayne Santos at Sina Rodenas. Kasama natin ngayon. Good afternoon po. So, dahil nakapag-assign na tayo, Tutor Joshua, pwede na yung ating pagsasubstitute ng mga values na yan sa ating equation dyan. Pero, tandaan natin na yung may sub 1 at sub 2 lang yung ating isa-substitute, Tutor Joshua.
Yes, and especially if we have negative integers or numbers na isa-substitute. So we will have y minus negative 1 equals the slope will have sa numerator is 11 minus negative 1 all over 5 minus 2, and then we will have to multiply that by x minus 2. And pwede rin actually guys, no, sabi ko nga dati, kung ano yung mas madali para sa inyo, you could do that. Kasi pwede nating isulat, Tutor Queenie, na yung ating kukuhanin is y sub 1 minus y sub 2 all over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. Yeah.
Pero Tutor Joshua, they have to take note na ang palaging nasa numerator yung y values and then sa denominator x values. Okay?
Yes, kasi
and then
rise over run palagi yung motto natin kapag linear function.
Ayan. Tsaka pag gusto nilang unahin yung y sub 1, dapat mauuna rin sa denominator x sub 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ayan, para hindi magugulo-gulo yung value natin.
Hindi naman siya magugulo kasi we will still have the same slope supposedly. So we will have here, the equation now will be y plus 1 kasi negative of a negative is positive. And then yung numerator natin sa slope is 12, denominator is 3, still multiplied by the binomial x minus 2. And simplifying this, we will have y plus 1 equals 4 times the quantity x minus 2. So, Tutor Queenie, pwede na ba natin itong gamitin as our linear function?
Ang linear function natin, di ba sabi natin nung nakaraan, from y equals mx plus b, yung y, papalitan natin ng notation na f of x. Since meron pa tayong 1 dito na naka-add kay y, kailangan pa nating ayusin, Tutor Joshua. So, distribute natin yung 4 sa quantity x minus 2. That will be 4x minus 8. And then yung positive 1 natin kanina, nagiging negative 2 na doon sa side nila, 4x minus 8. Or simply, we have y is equal to 4x minus 9. Ayan. So, mayroon na tayong equation, Tutor Joshua. Madali na nating mahanap yung tinatanong kanina na f of 0.
Ayan. So, yung equation na y equals 4x minus 9, again, y will be our dependent variable. Di pala will be kasi it is our dependent variable. So, it will suffice as f of x kasi yun yung value ni y at that given function. So, y equals 4x minus 9. Then, we will have x equals 0. So, we will just simply have negative 9.
Baka magulat sila, bakit nag-negative 9 na lang? Kasi 4 times 0 is 0. So, 0 minus 9 is just negative 9. Yeah.
So, sabi ni Katlea Soriano, correct, it's y equals 4x minus 9. Pero take note, our question is, what is f of 0? So, medyo mahaba yung ating tinahak para makuha yung value ng f of 0. Pero actually, Tutor Queenie, feeling ko mas madali ito pag ginraph no? Kasi tutuldukan mo lang yung coordinates and then you will look kung saan siya sa y-axis tumama.
Kasi x is equal to 0 ang hinahanap natin dito. Intercept actually.
Yes.
Paano naman kaya, Tutor Joshua, kung nasa word problem naman yung ating gagawin? Example dito, Mr. Baldemore is working for a cosmetics company, he earns 15,000 pesos per month with a commission of 1/5 of his sales. What will be Mr. Baldemore's earnings for the month if he sold a total of 25,000 pesos worth of products?
Ayun. So, intindihin muna natin kung ano yung given sa problem and syempre kung ano yung itinatanong doon. Okay, so here, ayun, balikan natin. Okay, here, ang tanong is kung magkano yung total na ma-earn ni Mr. Baldemore if he sold 25,000 pesos. Kasi may, kumbaga may, ano siya, di ba, parang automatic na mamabayaran siya ng 15,000 per month. Tapos may commission siya, may additional siyang makukuha base dun sa nakuha niya. Ay, naibenta rather. Okay? So, paano kaya, Tutor Queenie, na nakuha na natin yung pinaka-gist nung tanong eh? Paano kaya natin masosolve yung magkano lahat-lahat?
Alamin muna natin kung ano ba yung mga unknown variables natin dito. Ayan. Sige, kailangan natin ng independent at saka dependent variable. Kasi nakita natin, no, yung kanyang total earnings, okay, naapektuhan kung gaano kalaki yung magiging sales niya for the month. Right? Kasi fixed na yung 15,000 pesos per month niya eh. Kaya may commission, so madadagdagan. Right? So, paano natin nahanapin? Dito, result ba ang independent variable natin dito will be the total sales for the month. So, sa kanya nakadepende yung magiging total sales ni Mr. Baldemore for the month. So, represent natin yan. And then, Tutor Joshua, di ba sabi natin kanina, yung sa ating MX plus P, yung M doon ay yung rate of change. Right? Ayan. So, M is equal to 1/5.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yan. So, M is equal to 1/5. Kasi yun yung ating rate of change. Nakadepende sa sales ni Mr. Baldemore yung ating function. So, lagay ko muna rin dito na yung ating f of x is actually the total earnings naman. Kasi gagawa nga tayo ng function. Okay? Gagawa tayo ng function. Okay? So, bakit may f of 0 dito? Kasi meron tayong fixed amount. And actually, para siyang yun yung starting salary ni Mr. Baldemore based dun sa ating problem. Okay? So, given these values, we could write an equation na f of x equals 1/5 x plus 15,000. Bakit 1/5 of x? Kasi nga po, 1/5 of the sales yung commission ni Mr. Baldemore. And we could use this to solve the problem. Okay? Tutor Queenie?
Yes, Tutor Joshua. Naririnig mo na ako, Tutor Joshua?
Yes, pero parang naka-freeze.
Sige. Ayan. So, dahil meron na tayong equation for that, f of x is equal to 1/5 x plus 15,000. Ayan. Ang tinanong naman kanina is, magkano lang yung magiging total earnings niya kung 25,000 pesos ang kanyang magiging total sales for the month. Iba pa yung total sales, Tutor Joshua, doon sa total earnings ni Mr. Baldemore. So, paano gagawin natin dito, Tutor Joshua?
Ayan. So, kasi di ba kanina, if ang na-earn, ang sales na ibenta ni Mr. Baldemore daw is 25,000, okay, so papalitan natin yung X. So that will be F of 25,000 is equal to 1/5 of 25,000 plus 15,000. So what will be this value, Tutor Queen?
So, unahin natin yung yung 1/5 of 25,000. Ang 1/5 ng 25,000 ay 5,000. Then, we add that to 15,000. So, Tutor Joshua, anuhin lang natin na itong 5,000, sabihin yun yung nakuha niya dun sa commission niya. Ayan yung commission niya. Plus yung 15,000 na fixed rate, fixed amount na makukuha niya for the month. So, we have a total of 20,000 pesos.
Tama ba spelling? Commission.
Ayan. So, we can conclude now that Mr. Baldemore's earnings for the month will be 20,000 pesos.
Ayun. Meron lang pala, Tutor Queenie, mag solve ng problems involving linear functions. Siyempre, kailangan mo ng function itself, the equation, pero you will utilize whatever is given, usually the slope and the y-intercept. Ayan, masasolve na natin yung ating problem. And pwede rin baliktad. Ibibigay yung value of the function at a certain x, tapos hahanapin din yung value ng x na yan.
Nandiyan sila na din malaman. Kasagot sila sa ating problem, 20,000 pesos.
Okay.
So, kapag mga ganitong problem, Tutor Joshua, so we have to analyze, meron ba tayong independent variable at dependent variable? Tapos, kung makakakuha ba sila ng equation for that, at kapag ang nakuha nilang equation ay first degree, then that is a linear. So, ayan. Ready na tayo mag-try ng ating mga questions? Okay, ayan po. So, question number 1 po tayo. Kung meron na po kayong sagot, lagay nyo lang po sa comments number 1 and then the letter of your answer. Okay, so, the first question is, Sir Joshua, ano po yung first question?
Okay, so a gas station charges 60 pesos per liter of unleaded gasoline. What is the independent variable? So again, ang tinatanong ay yung ating independent variable. Okay, wait for a while. Okay, so we will give you 5 seconds to answer this problem.
Mm-hmm. So, number 1, letter A ba? Letter B or letter C?
Yan. Sige, Tutor Queenie, paano ba natin malalaman yung independent sa dependent?
Yung independent, yung pwede natin mapalit-palitan ng value, no? Tapos yung dependent, pag pinalitan natin ng value yung independent variable na yon, magte-take effect kay dependent variable. Kaya tinatawag ng depende, no? Literal na nakadepende siya.
Ayan, sabi ni JM Espino daw is C. Check nga natin. Okay. So, independent. Saan ba nakadepende yung quantity na kailangan? So, usually, okay, again, usually, ang kinukuha nating dependent variable is yung presyo. Kasi nakadepende yung presyo doon sa bibilhin natin. Okay, again, that is usually. There are also instances na baliktad. Okay, so for letter A, that is our dependent variable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Kasi again, saan ba nakabase yung ating presyo? Nakabase siya kung magkano kung ilan pala, kung ilan yung bibilin natin. So our independent variable here is letter B.
Mhm.
Tutor
So,
Queenie, paano yung letter C?
kasi Tutor Joshua, no, sabi mo kanina, nakadepende yung total price doon sa number of liters at syempre doon sa presyo ng gasolina, ng gasoline per liter. So, yung price of gasoline per liter natin, binigay na niya doon sa ating statement kanina na 60 pesos per liter. So, ito yung magbibigay nung ating kung gaano kataas or kaano kababa yung magiging changes ng ating independent variable. Yan. So, the rate of change. Ako, magkakaroon na sila ng clue, Tutor Joshua, kung ano yung nagiging equation natin. Ayan.
Yes.
So, sino yung mga nakakuha ng answers, Tutor Joshua?
Ayan, nakatama. Actually, tama na si Christopher Andrew Respicio. Ang sagot niya is letter B.
At si Nadine Manabat. Ay, sorry. Ayan.
Hahabol yan si Nadine. Baka nalaglag.
Ayaw mo yan, Nadine.
Ayan. So, we have our second question. Actually, it's the same situation. A gas station charges 60 pesos per liter of unleaded gasoline. Which function best represents the situation? Is it f of x equals 60, f of x equals 60x, or C, f of x equals 60 plus x?
So, yung mga sasagot, Tutor Joshua, ilagay nila number 2, tapos yung letter of their answer para ma-recognize natin kung sino-sino sila.
Ayan.
Tutor Joshua, ito yung tinatanong dito, represents what will be the total nung price ng mabibiling gasoline, right?
Yes. So, magkakamukha, no? Medyo magkakamukha yung natin, pangalan nito, equations.
Okay.
So, siguro pangalanan muna natin kung ano yung kailangan natin kasi f of x equals mx plus b. So, alin ba dito si m? Alin ba dito si b?
May nakikita na akong mga sagot, Tutor Joshua.
Sige, Tutor Queenie, alin ba dito yung ating m or yung ating, actually nabigay na pala natin kanina.
Yung ating rate of change ay yung 60 pesos per liter. So, pag tinatanong ko yan sa mga estudyante ko before na, isipin mo, if 1 litro yung binili, magkano babayaran? Kung 2 litro ang bibilhin, magkano? Kung 3. Ayan. So, nakukuha nila kung ano yung magiging equation for that. At may mga nakakuha na rin dito, Tutor Joshua.
Si J.M. Espino, si Sina Rodenas, Catherine Matarla, and si Nadine Manaban. Ayan, so M is 60. Pero, Tutor Queenie, bakit wala tayong B? Or actually, meron ba tayong Y-Intercept?
Pag nag-Y-Intercept, Tutor Joshua, ibig sabihin, kung 0, imagine nyo, no? Kung 0 liter yung bibili, di ka bibili, right? So that will be 60 times 0. So, wala ka dapat babayaran, di ba? Kaya lang, pag naglagay tayo ng B dyan, that will be plus something. Kunwari, nag-plus 2 tayo dyan, or plus 60. Ibig sabihin, wala kang biniling gasoline, may babayaran ka pa rin. Parang ganun yung ano mo nun, no? So, tingnan niyo yung sa letter A, f of x is equal to 60. 60. So, kung bibili tayo ng 5 litro, 60 pesos pa rin yung babayaran natin. Wow, murang-mura. Right? Pero pag fixed lang, no? Fixed lang yung amount. So, kahit bumili ka kahit magpag-gasolina ka, full tank mo, 60 pesos lang ang iyong babayaran. So, hindi siya nag-make sense doon sa situation na binigay. Pag yung letter C naman, f of x is equal to 60 plus x. So, sabi kasi natin yung independent natin kanina, yung total number of liters of gasoline, right? So kung, ayun nga, kung bibili ng, or kung papagasolina ka ng 1 litro, 61
61
pesos.
pesos. Parang saya nun,
Medyo, medyo lugi ka pa, Tutor Joshua, kasi 60 pesos per liter daw eh. Lugi ka ng piso. Pero kung magsa 10 litro ka, so 60 plus 10 liters, 70 pesos lang yun. Sulit na sulit. Kaya lang, lugi yung gas station dito. So, ang pinakatamang sagot ay letter P.
Yan. So, possible ng ating linear function, ang ating y-intercept will be 0. It means that the value of the function at x equals 0 is also 0. Kapag ginraph natin yon, at pag ginraph natin yon, mag-intersect siya doon sa origin. And I think, Tutor Queenie, itong type ng linear function na ito ay may encounter ulit ng ating students pagdating nila ng grade 9.
May pa-teaser pang grade 9 lesson.
Yes, mga yan, parang babalik-balikan nyo na topic.
Yes. Oh, andyan pa sila, Francine Panalangin. Ay, hello po. From National High School, STO Bulacan.
Yan. So this is our last question. A gas station, yun pa rin pala yun, charges 60 pesos per liter of unleaded gasoline. How much is the cost of 7.5 liters of unleaded gasoline? So we have here, choices are 400 pesos, 420 pesos, and 450 pesos. Siguro, Tutor Queenie, bago natin bigay yung timer, ilagay natin muna yung function na gagamitin nila, which is f of x
60x
is equal to 60x. Okay. So let's give them the timer. Ayan, time is up. Ayan. So, madali lang ata ang gagawin natin, no, Tutor Queenie? I-multiply lang natin kasi 60x or 60 times x. So we will have 60 or f of x is equal to 60 times 7.5, and that will be 420 plus kalahati ng 60. Yun ay at 450 pesos. Okay.
Nakuha nila JM Espino, Francine Panalangin, Sina Rodenas, Catherine Matarlo, Christopher Respicio, and Nadine Manabat.
Ayan, so basta given kayo ng value ng ating independent variable, just substitute ito to our linear function. And actually, kahit anong klase ng function, you just substitute it to the equation. Makukuha nyo yung value ng ating dependent variable. Okay, and vice versa kapag baliktad yung given na binigay. So, Tutor Queenie, before we give our self-check, may may masasabi ka ba regarding dito sa linear function natin?
Since ito kasi, Tutor Joshua, naaral na natin yung linear function last session, right? Ngayon, in-apply lang natin sa problem solving. At kung napapansin nila, yung question natin, may isa lang yung situation. We have to realize that kapag meron kang problem solving, the first thing that you have to do is read and understand the problem. Okay? Analyze mo muna, ano bang nangyayari? May unknown variable ka ba? At ano yung pattern? May pattern ba? Makakagawa ka ba ng iyong equation for this problem? So yun yung pinaka-key doon, no? Before you start, read and understand what is the situation or what is the problem. Kasi yun yung problem natin before na pag binasa ng student, usually, walang clue anong gagawin. So, unang iniisip, ang hirap. Pero sana, unti-untiin, alamin, ano ba talaga yung sitwasyon. At yun,
Ayan. And maraming ways nga para ma-solve yung isang problem. Dito, mathematically natin pinapakita. Pwede nyo i-graph using the Cartesian plane. And actually, pwede kayo mag-drawing, no? yung ginagamit na block method ng ating mga kapatid sa Singapore or mga ating Chinese na students. Gumagamit sila ng diagrams to solve these kinds of problems. And they work kasi may pattern at yung pattern na yun yung hindi mawawala sa math. Kasi yung pattern na yun, it could be true or false, and if it's true all the time, it could be usable all the time din.
So, kailangan talaga intindihin kasi makikita mo agad, no, kung nag-make sense ba yung answer natin. Right? I-analyze natin. So, that's it. Okay? We were able to revisit illustrating linear functions and apply it by solving problems involving linear functions.
Ayun. So, with that po, ako po ay bumabati rin ng happy holidays sa ating mga estudyante, guro at syempre sa ating mga magulang na sumusuporta sa lahat ng endeavors na ICTS ETU, pati na rin po ng kagawaran ng edukasyon.
Ito po ang last session natin for the year 2021. Apakabilis, Peter Joshua. Tapos nagyan ang naubos na natin yung weeks. Okay? Sasamahan na nila ulit tayo next year na. So makikita-kita ulit tayo next year pa po. Kaya kung may katanungan o suggestion po kayo, maaari nyo pong i-scan. Ayan po ang QR code o kaya po pumunta sa link na naka-flash po. Tuloy-tuloy na suporta po sa mga bata, magulang at guro mula po sa amin dito sa ETUlay, Math Talino Friday.
Wag nyo pong kakalimutan yung lessons natin. Kasi pagdating natin ng January, it's already week number 6, and tutungo po tayo sa di pala bago, babalikan natin yung mga konsepto ng branch ng mathematics na tinatawag nating geometry. And yung lessons natin sa algebra, hindi dapat natin yan makalimutan. If ever na hindi tayo maalala, pwede natin balikan yung mga lessons natin through video, through modules, and through other lesson materials na available talaga sa ating DepEd Commons.
Huwag silang mag-alala, nandito po tayo para samahan sila na alalahanin at isapuso lahat ng mga lessons natin na yan sa math. Ayan po. So, susunod na po ang Math 9 with Tutor Janet and Tutor Angelique. Maraming salamat po at happy holidays everyone. Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok sa ETUlay.
Thank you po and magandang hapon.
Magandang hapon po.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!